which are down here. So if I tried to fill this, it's just going to run right out, and it's going to come right through, and it's going to want to fill that void. So what I did, I taped off the sides, and I have some bathtub sealer silicone. I cut the tip real narrow, and I got way down inside. Well, it's down about a ½ inch, maybe a little more, and I squirted it in there. Then I cook a Q-tip. I took a Q-tip, and then I went down inside and rubbed it to make sure that I sealed it up against the walls down there. So now when I fill this void, it's not going to run through, and yet it's also going to be deep enough so that I'm not going to see the caulk, and we'll see the color that I'm looking for. So that's where we're at with that. So now I got to wait for that to dry, and that's going to take probably a day to do what it has to do. So, now there's little things in a shop that I find that I use a lot, and you wouldn't think of it, but I use sticks, ice cream sticks, I use toothpicks, and I use Q-tips. Toothpicks, Q-tips, and ice cream sticks. You'd be surprised how many times you'd use those things. Alright, so that's going to be sitting like that. So let me put this over here. As much as I like to rush it and try to get it done, it's not going to happen. This one, however, I think I can start. So I did make a little bit of a mix here that I'm going to add some color to, and see if I can get this thing started. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. And I'm pretty positive that I can get that filled in pretty good. So I want to pour these two containers that you may or may not see into a container so I can mix it. So I'm going to take this one, because this is a 50-50 mix. That's Stone Coat. And what's good about them, I haven't done it yet, I don't know. I can only go by what they said. When I was talking with the girl on the phone at the Stone Coat company, she had said that you have time, which you do normally, to work with this stuff. Hold on a minute, I gotta spray a little brake cleaner on a rack. She says, and if you wait, I think she said 17 minutes, it actually gets stiff enough to where you can work with it and not have it lose and seep through a bunch of things. So they have a pretty good idea on the time that you can work on this stuff with. All right, what do I want to use here for a color? Let's try blue. I haven't tried this blue yet. Dark Ocean Blue powder. So let's give it a shot, because this wood is light on the other side. So let's see. Come on, get out of there. Take a little of this little light ocean blue. Yeah, a little bit more. There. This is all Kenny's fault. You guys, I don't know if you know Ken, but he runs that channel. Oh shit, I can't remember it now. I gotta look it up. I'll put it someplace. It's tips and tricks or something. Easy tricks and tips, I think it's called, something like that. And this is all his fault. Ken. Thanks, Ken. He works with wood quite a bit, and he did he made a lamp. And I may have told you this story a few times. Hold on a minute, there's a train going by. Alright, he made a lamp a few months back. Actually, quite a while. More than a few months. And I said, you know what, that's a nice idea. I got to try that. And then he said, you know, well, if there's any questions, you know, feel free to ask, which I appreciate. It's pretty well, you know, forward as to what it is. Yeah, I appreciate whatever, you know, he wants to offer. And, oh yeah, that's a nice color. And I said, you know what, I gotta try that. That's all there is to it. I want to try it. So I started looking for wood again, and I told you this story, I know. He lives in, I don't know, where, I don't want to say desert, but that kind of, you know, open land, you know, where he has that around him, you know, a lot of openness. And I guess, you know, if you think about it, the wood gets weathered quickly, you know, with the sand, the wind, the heat, you know, so it ages and it gets weathered naturally, quick and natural. And naturally, a quick or a natural weathering of a wood, you can get some nice stuff. Well, we don't get that here. You know, we don't have a desert or that type of an atmosphere. So, you know, you really have to look. Now, if I go hunting the shoreline, I'm sure I can find some driftwood that's been weathered by nature. I like that blue. Do you see that? Wow. But for the most part, you know, we're not going to find that kind of wood around here. So I said, you know what, I don't want to just make one to make it. If I'm going to make it, it's got to, I got to have the right piece. It's got to pop. It's got to tell me, here I am. It's got to jump out in front of me and say, I'm the wood you're looking for. We're talking about trees, guys. And that's all there is to it. Let me get an old syringe. So that's what a lot of this, and where a lot of this started. Because of Ken. It's all Ken's fault. Ken. So meanwhile, as I started looking for the wood, I started noticing some things where guys use this colored stuff. What they do is they'll take a small container, they'll put a piece of wood in there, and then, you know, the wood's cracked and stuff like that. Then they pour in a few quarts of a colored epoxy. And then after it hardens, they pull it out. You know, they break the container, they get rid of it, and they take that chunk and put it into a blade and turn it into something, you know, a vase, a bowl, a fancy piece of wood, and all this stuff. You'll see it on the net if you look. YouTube has it. And then they have all these fancy designs. It looks good. I go, oh, Jesus, I don't have the lathe, but I can still take a piece of wood and fill in some of the natural crevices of the wood. And see what I can get out of it. And that's what started all this with the color of epoxies and such. Like I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then, if I want it, I still want it to be right. Again, I don't want to just pick a piece to do it. It's got to be the right piece, and it's got to look right. I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist. In mind, I'm a perfectionist. It's got to be exactly what I want it to be. However, doing it is another story. So that's kind of where I'm at and why I'm doing all this that I'm doing. I mean, if that makes any sense to you at all. I'm sure you understand what I mean. Now, either this is going to work or it's going to leak. One or the other. But it's going to give me an idea how this stuff works anyway. Now, according to her, this should set up in about 17 minutes. And for her to say that time, you know, which is an odd time, 17, you know, it's not 10, 15, or 20, they must have a pretty good idea as to what this stuff does or doesn't do. I would think anyway. Makes sense though. There. Now what I do need, I gotta call the wife. She's going to Walmart. I need some of these little decorative brushes. Sorry guys, I don't mean to be showing you the top of my head. It's raining. We're getting a little bit of a remnants apparently from the hurricane. So the wife said. Personally, I don't know. I don't remember hearing anything about a hurricane. But apparently somebody was getting one. Okay.